in the UK. My name's Jonathan and I'm your facilitator for today. Nice to see the Ukrainian flag there. Coopers, you've all forgotten to bring your Union Jacks and St George's Cross flags, but no problem. One of my roles today is to make sure we get through our agenda. So just to give you a reminder of what I hope your teachers have told you in advance, today you're going to be sharing with one another about your communities. So very soon I'll invite a few students from each school to share an introduction and tell us things about your community, give us a description, maybe tell us things that you like, things that you would like to change. And also then later we'll hear about how you spend your holiday time, and then we will move into a discussion about values. So we hope to hear about your personal values, but we'll also have a discussion about the values you see evidenced in your community. At the end of the video conference, I will ask two students from each school to share a reflection about what you have learned during the video conference. So before we begin, I too have a few tips which I would like to share with you just to help you get the most out of the next 60 minutes. So firstly, when you are speaking, please remember to keep things personal. This video conference is about you. It's your opportunity to represent yourself. You are not here to represent your school or your community or even your country. You're here to share your personal experience. Now, for this reason, it's very helpful if you could make I statements rather than we statements. So saying things like, my experience has been, or I believe that, instead of we believe or we all think. That's really helpful because it helps us learn about you and it stops us making generalizations about wider groups. I'd also remind you that as a platform for sharing personal experience, face-to-face isn't really the place to share opinions about things you've seen in the news or about political affairs or things which don't necessarily affect you personally. Secondly, the key skill for a good video conference is not actually speaking, but listening. Now, because our goal is to move beyond simply making presentations and telling information to one another, to actually building relationships and understanding each other, I want to encourage you to listen actively. Now, what this means is that when your fellow students are speaking, you're asking yourself questions like, what do I not understand yet? What are they saying which is interesting and I would like to know more about it? That way, when it is your turn to speak, you can ask a clarifying question like, hey, when you said this, what did you mean? Or you can ask for more information about a topic which interested you. Or you may even like to disagree and say, hey, my fellow student said this, but I actually have a different set of values. Please don't be afraid to disagree with one another, because it's often when we disagree that we discover our differences and we learn to appreciate them. So just to recap a few of Nonika's technical points before we get started. When you're not speaking, please remember to keep the microphones on mute. Secondly, when it is your turn to speak, please introduce yourself by saying your name, just to give us a little idea of who you are. And when you are finished, if you could end by saying thank you, not because we want you to be polite, it's just a helpful way of us knowing that you're finished and somebody else can take a turn to speak. Do try to speak more loudly and more clearly than you normally would to your friends. We all have accents. Some of us are speaking in our second language, so we just have to work a little harder to make sure we all understand one another. Finally, as I said, this video conference is about you. My role is to help you connect with one another, but when you are speaking, please address one another rather than me. Okay, so those are our protocols. Could I just get either a thumbs up or a wave from both schools to show that you've understood everything I've said so far? Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, let's begin then with a bit of a discussion about your communities where you live. I'd like to invite a few students from each school to share something of a description of your local community and perhaps tell us one thing that you really like about your community and also one thing which you would like to change. So first of all, let's go to students at the Lyceum in the Ukraine, and let's have at least 3 students to share an introduction for us and tell us something about your community. Thank you, in your own time.
Hello, my name is Sasha. Hello. My name is Sasha, and I'd like to tell you about my native town and my lyceum. My native town is Kryvyi Rog. I was born here, and all my relatives live here. It's a town of factories, tall buildings, green parks, and hard-working people. Our town is the longest town in Ukraine, and there are a lot of types of schools in our town. There are secondary schools, lyceums, gymnasiums, and private schools. Our lyceum was opened in 1991. There were 2 faculties, technical and humanitarian faculties. People attend our lyceum from 5th to 11th form, and they have to pass some exams to enter our lyceum, like in English, Math, and Ukrainian. Now I study at humanitarian faculty, and I specialize in foreign languages, Russian, Ukraine, and history. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Sasha. Could we have 1 or 2 more students from the Lyceum to tell us a little bit more about your town, maybe something different, maybe tell us something that you would like to change? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul, and I study at the Humanitarian Technical Lyceum. You might think that most of the students here study at the Humanitarian Technical faculty, and this is true. However, I study at the Technical faculty. Studying here involves deep studying of physics, mathematics, but it doesn't mean that languages suffer. For example, in my class, we've got 2 English and 2 German lessons a week. And of course, some students study other languages like French, their own. So in every faculty, students are multi-developed, and the level of education is very good here. So I'm really proud of studying here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lisa, and I'm studying Humanitarian Technical Lyceum too, and I really like it. There is a special atmosphere here, which is made by students, teachers, and parents of our Lyceum. Our teachers are friendly and polite. They respect us, always talk to us like to grown up and serious people. Our teachers are so cheerful, and thanks to them, our lessons are always exciting, especially biology. We have a very funny biologist teacher. Her jokes are the best. To my mind, the main difference between Lyceum and ordinary school is the design. There are 2 buildings, and both of them are beautiful. They have DIY decorations, which is made by students and teachers of our lyceum. There are a lot of recreation places. We have a big sofa, armchairs, some benches on the second and the first floor of the main building. Next, on the second floor, there are a lot of tables and chairs where students can have a rest and cheat. As well, there is a large mirror where students can take photos. In the second building, we have a lot of sofas for relaxing too. Also, we can use Wi-Fi everywhere. At the Lyceum, I never get bored. We always have parties, competitions, same days, and absolutely love it. Our parties are always bright and entertaining. However, only one thing that I would like to change is a study on Saturdays. Even if we wear casual style, it is still difficult to get up on day off. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all of those introductions from the Lyceum. Let's hand over to the students at Cooper's Coburn in the UK now, and if we could have perhaps 2 or 3 students to share an introduction from you, tell us a bit about your community, things you like and things you'd like to change. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Hello.
And you need to press the button.
Ben. Hello. My name is Ben. I am at the Cooper's Company and Coburn School in Upminster. We are currently all in a sixth form, so which is the 12th year of our education. I like the sixth form a lot because we are treated. I, along with my fellow students, are all treated as adults. We are respected by the teachers, and I feel that I feel privileged to be at the school. The school is very sports-based. There's a lot of extracurricular activities, after-school clubs, rugby, football, swimming, loads of sports, which means that we feature lots of competitions across the country, having done lots of national finals. But we, as some of the students in the Ukraine have previously mentioned, we have a common room. I have which students can relax, students can do work, and I feel that I can get a lot done in some of the free periods, which are subject lessons when we do not have subjects featured. The teachers at the school are very enthusiastic. They're all very exciting, particularly our particular religious studies teacher. They all feature they're all very kind. They give us the right amount of work, and I feel that I can I receive a very strong education through the school. We are split into several. The subjects are split into several blocks across a ground, all featuring various different facilities, which are all very unique, but also very interesting and useful to our learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. That was well done. Harry? Get stuck every time we've got the United Nations conference, won't you?
That's true. Hello, my name's Harry, and I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the school that I'm aware of. Now, our school is, the main part of the school, the Cooper's Company School, I think this is its 478th year. This is the third location that the school has been based. It's previously been based in 2 different areas within London, one of which being Bow. Our school it's formed of 2 different ones. You've got the Cooper's Company School, which is the eldest part of the school. Then you have the Coburn School, and when we moved to this site in the 1970s, they were combined together to form the Cooper's Company and Coburn School. Now, the Cooper's side of the school was initially for a school for boys, and Coburn for girls. So yeah, we've been around for quite a while, perhaps one of the oldest schools of our nature. Now we're formed of a secondary school followed by a sixth form. Now you don't necessarily go into the sixth form having finished secondary school, as it depends on what grades you get in these exams called GCSEs, which you do at the end of year 11. Some people may just choose not to come back to the sixth form. However, you will find that the majority of our year group returns to carry on their education through to being 18. Now recently it was made a law that for students we had to stay in education until we're 18 years old. Previously it'd been 16, so sixth form was something that was not, strictly speaking, compulsory. However, now we must continue our studies. Most people choose to do A-levels, which are the type of exams that you do in sixth form. However, you can go off and do apprenticeships where you learn various skill trades, such as being a builder, electrician, a plumber as such. Those courses aren't taught here. It's all purely academic. So our GCSEs, the qualifications that we do in secondary school, we do approximately 11 in total. However, some may do more if they are particularly skilled in certain areas. We must take maths, science, that's all three of them, biology, chemistry and physics. We must do English literature and language, and at Cooper's you have to do religious studies, and you must also, well actually they've changed it now, but when we were doing them you had to do a physical thing, so whether that was sport or dance, that was down to the individual. You then had four options, sorry, that you could choose your own personal subjects, one of which had to be a language. Most people went for a language you start learning in year 7, others chose to do one in year 8. Personally, I took French and German, however I'm not particularly good at them, as unfortunately the English's reputation for being bilingual isn't particularly good, which is a shame. Having completed your GCSEs, you then move on to A-levels, where you which is split into two parts. You have AS, which is the first year of sixth form, year 12, where you take 4 subjects. You do AS exams in our exam time, which is May, June, that kind of time of the year. And then depending upon your grades and your preferences, you will then drop a subject and then carry on through to A2. So are you gonna... Okay, right, I'm gonna depart now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry. Excellent.
Do we have one more from Cooper's? Okay, we'll have one more from Cooper's, and then we'll go into questions after this. Sorry, please go ahead.
Hello, my name's Marie. I'm in year 12 of Cooper's Coven, and we live in, well, I live in Upminster, which is a suburb of London, and there's quite a lot of countryside, but there's quite a lot of shops too, and we live about half an hour away from London, so you can get the train or the car, and that means that there's quite a lot of opportunity for arts and entertainment. So there's loads of museums and cinemas and art galleries that you could go to. And there's always events that are on and exhibitions. We had the privilege, 4 of us in this class, I think it's 4 of us, 2 of us in this class, had the privilege of going to a model United Nations event. 3 of us, yeah, and we got to pretend to be members of the United Nations and say our views on events and foreign affairs, which was quite interesting. And we got to speak to delegates of Ukraine, which was great as well. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very good.
Thank you very much for all of those contributions from Cooper's Coburn. All of you have been very, very comprehensive with your introductions, and it's been really interesting to hear about the respective school systems, as well as some of the other things that you've shared. Let's have a few questions now. Have any of you heard anything from the other school which you would like to ask a question about? Or did you have something in mind in advance of the video conference that you would like to ask your fellow students? If you could maybe take the opportunity now to approach the speaking chair and unmute the microphone, do come forward and ask a question to get our dialogue going. Thank you. Sorry, we can't hear you. I think there's a student
hello.
at Cooper's Coburn. If we hold on, we'll go first of all to the student at Cooper's Coburn, who I think has probably worked out how to unmute the microphone, and then we'll come back to you at the Lyceum for your question.
Okay.
Is that working?
Is it working?
Can you hear?
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, my name's Alfie. As I said before, there's a lot that goes on at Cooper's in terms of extracurricular activities. I was just interested what kind of extracurricular activities you do at your school. Thank you.
You need to explain extracurricular. You might need to explain it.
Okay. Sorry, by extracurricular activities, it can either be physical activity such as sport, or it could also be learning such as a new language. Thank you.
Or drama, or arts.
Hello. About extracurriculars, we've got a chorus in our Lyceum, we've got debate and English clubs, we've got historical club and different sport activities. In the holidays we usually we have some trips for historical and cultural sites in Ukraine. So I think that our extracurricular life is widespread and different topics are taken. Thank you.
Let's take that question now from the Lyceum, or if the student from the Lyceum who's now in the speaking chair wants to share, please go ahead.
Sorry. Hello, my name is Caroline, and I'd like to tell you about our celebration in my Lyceum. My favorite is Jeans Day. On this day, everyone wears denim clothes. For example, jeans, denim jackets, accessories, maybe shoes, and any other denim items. And I think it's very interesting celebration because on this day we have short lessons, don't have tests, and the teachers don't give us bad marks. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary, and I've got a question. As you said, you have a relaxed room in your school, so I want to ask you about breaks between lessons. We have two breaks, two long breaks. Have you got any more? And what do you do in these breaks?
Basically, in our school we have different breaks. So we have a morning break. Hello, we have a morning at our school. My name's Thomas. We have a morning break, and that's on for about 20 minutes each day. And then around lunchtime we have about an hour's break. Within that we can go into the common room, relax. There's two TVs now. there's 2 TVs there which play the news constantly, so we can keep up with that. We also have a sofa area where we can relax and a music stand where we can listen to different types of music. And we also have all of the classrooms are open, so we can go in there, we can do some private studying, or we can just chill out with friends and talk. We also have like some extracurricular activities on during lunchtime, like debating societies, extended project qualification meetings. So yeah, there's lots of things to do at break times. Thank you.
That was a good question.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that answer, and thank you for the questions that we've had so far. Just because of time, I'm going to move you on to your next agenda point, which is to talk a little bit about your holidays and what you do in your holiday time. Perhaps also tell us about what that means for you as a person. Why do you do the things that you do in your holidays? What values do you have? So I think Paul from the Lyceum already alluded to going on trips during holidays. But let's have a few more contributions, and this time let's begin at Cooper's Coburn. So if we could have 1 or 2 students to begin with, tell us a bit about your holidays and what you do and why. Thank you. I'm sorry, we can't hear you. I think you're still on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. Go ahead, thank you.
Hi, my name's Evangeline, and I'm quite a busy person in my holidays. I do split up my holidays. I do take time to relax, go out with friends. I can go to the cinema, but most of the time I'm quite the person who goes on a lot of holidays. For example, at Christmas, I went to Toronto. I went to see family and friends. You could do a lot there, so I spent the whole Christmas there. I do a lot of courses. I take the opportunity in my holidays to go to courses because I want to specialise in music. I play, my main instrument is the double bass, so I want to become a professional performer when I'm older. So I take these opportunities, which I do have in London and abroad. For example, in the summer I went to a course where I played with an orchestra, and we rehearsed mostly in London, and then we went abroad to places like Romania, Germany, and so I gained a lot of experience through that, and that's the sort of thing I could gain. Also, I go to other holidays as well. Thank you.
Thank you, that was marvellous. Well done, well done. Thank you. Do I hold down? Press one.
Hello, I'm Sophie, and in my holidays I like to spend time with friends and family. And in the time when we end school, we have 6 weeks to do what we want, not do what we want essentially, but that's our holidays. And in this time, I went on holiday with my family for 2 weeks. We went on like a trip around the Mediterranean, and I enjoyed that because I love spending time with my family, so that was the main part of that trip. And then also in the holidays, I spend time with my friends. I go out with them to the cinema and stuff like that. And also I do a lot of dancing because I want to be a dancer when I'm older. So I put a lot of time into going into my dancing and training to try and become better at that in my holidays. Thank you.
Marvellous, thank you very much.
Hello, wait, you need to press the button. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, go ahead.
Yeah, great. My name's Mitchell. And in the summer holidays especially, me like myself like others have some part-time jobs, which in this country, when you're 16, you can, as soon as you're older than 16, you can have a part-time job. So in the summer I was working, either teaching guitar or working at a football club. So as well as I'm on my break, I don't feel it's hard work, and I'm also getting paid, so then I can afford stuff like driving lessons and going out with friends and socialising. Thank you.
That's lovely. That's
Thank you very much. Thanks for all those contributions from Coopers. If you could just mute your microphone now that you're not speaking. Thank you. We'll go over to the students in the Ukraine at the Lyceum. It would be great to hear from you about how you spend your holiday time. Thank you, in your own time.
Hello, my name is Katerina. I study 6 days a week and have 6 or 7 lessons a day. I am always very busy at my weekdays, so I haven't got enough time to have a rest. Nevertheless, we have winter, summer, spring and autumn holidays at our Lyceum. My favorite are winter ones. It's a great opportunity to spend time with my family and friends. My family and I always go to Bukovel together. Bukovel is the largest ski resort in Ukraine. I like this place very much because there is always a pleasant atmosphere, hospitable people and picturesque views. I like living at the top of the mountain in a small house where I can often ski at dawn or at sunset. The most important for me is that I always have an opportunity to communicate with nature. I enjoy breathing a fresh air and watching birds and trees. Such way of spending my holiday time tells a lot about my personality. It's hard not to notice that I love communicating with nature and always try to keep life and work balance. Thank you. Hello, my name is Yana and I'd like to tell you about our school holidays. In our Lyceum we always work hard, that's why I'm always looking for having a time to chill out without lessons. Summer holidays are my favorite ones. This time my most favorite activity is traveling. I usually travel with my family. Last year I spent 2 weeks in Bulgaria. Every day we went to the beach, sunbathed and swam a lot. In this year I'm planning to visit Britain because I have a close relative there. And I think this journey will help me to improve my English and to know more about this country. My teachers say that I'm interesting and interested. I'm adventurous and serious. New impressions, experience, new people and places will make me happy. Traveling helps me to learn the world, traditions and customs, and know more about people of different nations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dennis and I'm Yana's classmate. Speaking about my favorite holidays, I would like to say that I like winter holidays most. First of all, I really enjoy the crisp of snow outside. I really like white snow, white trees and white houses. There is much snow in the wood, and my friends and I always make snowmen, play snowballs and go sledding. Another important reason why I like winter holidays is the celebration of Christmas and New Year. Of course, I also like New Year presents that my parents and friends prepare for me. But most of all, I like the moment on the 31st of December, when the clock strikes at midnight and all the family gathers together at around the dining table. Thank you.
I don't think that holiday is time for your hobbies only. I think that holiday is a time for your family. That's why I usually spend my holiday with my family. We travel together and we gather. We play family games and we join different activities. When we do sports, and I have to say that my brother and me do swimming, my parents always come and cheer us up. I think that whole family relationships and hobbies is very important for me. It's more important than my hobbies because my family is my life.
What do you students, if I could just interrupt for a moment, what do you students at Cooper's think about what Paul just said about finding that balance between hobbies and family? A number of you spoke about hobbies and also developing skills for the future, even skills for work, things you wanted to do in the future, and a number of you also shared about family time. Do any of you have an opinion on, what should your priorities be? Should it be to sort of strike a balance between family and hobbies or self-development? Just wonder if we could have any comments on that. Thank you.
No, really. No. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think that my holidays should be spent on hobbies and activities and time with friends, because I think when you're at home you already spend enough time with your family, so so you should be having fun and just doing what you want to do, because you're going to see your family every day, so it shouldn't matter.
Thank you for that. You had one more contribution from Cooper's. Anybody else like to share an opinion? Thank you.
Harry again. And I think as you get older, it's important to start learning how to spend less time with your family. Of course, family life is incredibly important because, blood's thicker than water. But as a part of life, eventually you have to move out and start your own life. And I feel that where you have hobbies, it gives you the opportunity to get out of your house and do something that you enjoy without necessarily needing to go to school. So it helps in a way to introduce you to the idea that you will eventually have to spend time on your own. But it doesn't mean you can't, go and see your family when you choose, but you have to kind of restrict yourself more, so it's not so much as a shock when you move away from home. Thank you.
Very well articulated.
Thank you very much. That was very well articulated. Let's have some more responses to that from the Lyceum. Would any? Oh, sorry, at Cooper's, could you just put yourself back on mute for us? Thank you. Thank you. So, students at the Lyceum, would any of you like to comment on this discussion around holiday time? And what's the most important way to spend your time? Should it be hobbies and doing things independent of your family? Or is it important to spend as much time with your family as possible? If you would like to comment on that, please do. Or if you would like to introduce a new subject, please go ahead with that as well. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Darina, and I'm sure that we all look forward for school holidays during school year. And now I'd like to tell you about my holidays. So on weekdays I usually go to school, but on holidays I prefer to rest. I think that every person needs a rest after hard work on weekdays. At my leisure time, I do sports, read books, go to the cinema with my friends, and spend a lot of time with my family. Sometimes I prefer to go to the country to see my other relatives and friends. In winter holidays, I like to go to the skating rink and spend a lot of time with my cousins. During summer holidays, I might go to the forest or river, play different games, live in summer camps, or swim in the sea, of course. We have also spring and autumn holidays too. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Darina. Now, just because of time, we're going to move on again to the third agenda point, which is to talk about values in your community. Many of you have already highlighted a number of personal values like time with friends and family, working, building skills for the future, going traveling to learn about the world. But what values do you see in your community? Can any of you share any stories or examples as a way of explaining to us values that you see as important in your community? We'll go first of all this time to the Lyceum. So if we could have one or two students from the Lyceum in the Ukraine to tell us about community values where you are in your own time. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Polina, and I want to tell you about the most important value for me is my family. I think first of all, family is family traditions. This is by far the most fun for me. I think traditions are what make a family unique. They draw people together and create a sense of belonging for everyone. Traditions do not need to be expensive, elaborate, or a lot of work. It can be as simple as going to the park together. I often go to the park with my family, and when we attend fun fairs, we often buy some candies. I have a big family, by the way, and my uncle, his daughter, my cousin, and I adore cotton candy. We eat it always in park. One of my favorite holiday is Easter. My mother has a day off, and we try to follow all the traditions. The whole day before Easter we spend decorating eggs and baking the special cakes called Pascha. And the most important traditions in Pascha is in Easter is to make the egg fights. It means you and someone else should take an egg and hit them against each other, and the person whose egg will be stronger is the winner. Okay, maybe the reason why I like Easter so much is that I was born on Easter, and this year my birthday is also on Easter Day. My family and I also like to celebrate holidays having a picnic or a barbecue. We have some green spaces near the house, and we prefer to spend time enjoying the nature. My grandma always prepares some delicious homemade food. I think that is wonderful that my family has a lot of different traditions, and if you don't have any family traditions, create them. The second important quality that I want to value that I want to describe is belonging. It is important that each member of my family feels that they are loved, they belong, and that they matter. We try to spend every spare minute together doing family activities, but we also keep in mind that everyone is different. I have already said that my family is really big, and but only a small part lives in my city, and I try to keep in touch with my immediate family. For example, my grandparents are divorced, and my grandmother lives with us, and grandfather in a small village in Russia. We can't visit him often, and he's alone in his big house. He doesn't have anyone to see the new year with. That is why the first thing we have done after the chiming clock was a call to the grandpa. I think this is the best quality of my family, that we can hold together even during the hard moments of the life. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lisa, and I want to tell you about the most important family values for me. It's forgiveness and communication. I will start with forgiveness. I think that the ability to forgive is one another, and to be flexible and compromise a little bit is a necessity. It helps us to being broken in life. And all of us are hurt by people almost each day in our lives, even also in my family and with my friends. And sometimes I say things in ways that hurt the other person, even if I don't want to offend. Sometimes it's hard to say, I'm sorry, would you forgive me? and say it with an honest heart, with a sincere heart. And I don't often say these words, but I have an elder brother, and when we were younger, we have argued a lot. And if I'm not writing something I've said or done, I try to say to him, please forgive me, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do that. I try not to do that again. Sometimes we need to forgive someone. If someone offended me, he just comes to me and says or does something funny to make me laugh, and that's all. I just keep in mind that everyone makes mistakes. I occasionally see things I wish I hadn't, and I just need to get some understanding, move on. Life is too short to be offended. So, and the next important value. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Do we have one more student from the Lyceum? Wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, it's Mary again, and I want to tell you about my value. And when I analyzed the question, I came to the conclusion that it's very important for me to be helpful for everybody, and I'm a very open and friendly person, so I always want to have as many friends as possible, and I always want to support and help someone who needs my help. So I'm very glad to have an opportunity to take part in some charity events. For example, in my Lyceum there is a charitable organization called Nadezhda, the Hope in English. And as a member of this organization, I want to tell you something about what we do and what role it plays in my life, or how it's important for me. So our foundation has been existing for 6 years, and I have been a member of this organization for 4 years. And during this time I've done a lot. For example, I went to orphanages where me and my friends brought toys and just love, support, and help. I really like spending time with these children because they are very open and kind, and they can really be surprised, and they really like every moment they spend with us, with me and my friends. And I keen on singing, and I often sing songs for them and give them some gifts. I do like see their eyes, the eyes of children that light up the hope and joy. And also I went to the Clear Home for Elderly. They are sang songs too, and just spoke to the elderly. I think the most important thing for them is to communicate with me and to give me a lot of sweets and to see me as a good listener. And but the most important thing for me is the charity Christmas ball in our Lyceum. Our Lyceum is about 24 years old, and this charity Christmas ball is one of the oldest traditions of our Lyceum. And the next Christmas ball is going to be the next on the 30th of January, and now we are preparing for them for that. For example, we organize concerts, and some students of our Lyceum are making their souvenirs, and some members of our community and some students come to this ball. And I really like taking part in this charity ball because I always feel like a part of something big and very important. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie. Now we're going to hand over to the students at Cooper's Coburn, but before we do, I just have to say, unfortunately, we're running out of time. We only have about 8 or 9 minutes left. So students at Cooper's, I want to leave this with you for a few minutes to take the dialogue where you want, really. I had asked a question about community values, which if you want to, you could answer that and tell us about values in your community. Alternatively, the students at the Lyceum have just told us more about some of their personal and family values. So we've heard about forgiveness, we've heard about communication, being helpful, charity, belonging. If any of you want to alternatively talk about your personal values some more, or if you would like to have a bit of a dialogue by asking some questions to the students at the Lyceum, I'm going to just leave that completely up to you. So the floor is yours for a few minutes, and really whatever you'd like to share with us, or if you'd like to ask questions, please feel free to do so. Thank you. If you could just unmute your microphone as well. Thanks very much.
Can you hear me now? I thought I'd talk more about the community kind of values. And I think one thing at our school which is very prominent is respect and also helping others. Like for our school motto is love as brethren, and what that basically means is it's like loving each other as one and just as a community, and you know, helping each other along the way. And also we're kind of told a lot about helping others, and many members of our school actually do help other members within our community, not just themselves. So for argument's sake, some people join something called the St John's Ambulance, and what that's basically about is they sign up and then they go out and practice with trained paramedics in ambulances to help members of the community, and this is all voluntary work. So what we are basically told is helping others and doing voluntary work is more kind of helping towards the overall community ethos of the school, and therefore many people decide to take up voluntary work in their free time, St John's Ambulance, and this is all just to kind of really reiterate the school motto of love as brethren. Thank you.
Lovely, well done. And it wouldn't do any harm to say it comes from Jesus, actually. I mean, we're supposed to have a dialogue about it.
Hello, my name's Matthew. I also live in Upminster. Community for me is a common unity and coming together. I think that the most important value in a community is compassion. And I'm very lucky to live in an area where you can see compassion on a daily basis. Whether it's someone in the street who's struggling, maybe they're ill, they get helped out by others, or if someone's being attacked, someone comes in and stops, and compassion to me is very important. Thank you.
We've maybe just got time for maybe one more contribution or question. So if the student at Cooper's Coburn perhaps wants to ask a question to your fellow students at the Lyceum, please go ahead. Thank you.
Question.
Sorry. Okay, I'd like to... Okay, hello, Harry again. I'd just like to readdress something that many of you brought up previously, in that you have a 6-day week at school, and we have both Saturday and Sunday off. So I was wondering, perhaps are your the times that you go into school different? It's shorter. So for us, we start lessons at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we finish at 25 minutes past 3. So I was just wondering, perhaps because you spend more time in school across the days, that you're actually, per day, you're in there less. So yeah, thank you.
Just wait down for the answer.
That's a good idea. Yeah, so I was just wondering how long your school day was. No,
Would any students at the Lyceum like to respond to that question? How long is your school day? Do you begin at 9 o'clock in the morning and finish at 3 o'clock? When do you begin and end your day?
Hello. Our school lasts for about 7 or 8 hours. Our lesson starts at 8:30 and ends for about at about 4 or 3 o'clock.
And is that the same on Saturday as well?
She's off.
Really, yeah, I can say we live in our school. On Saturday we also finish quite late, and Saturday studies does mean that we have shorter lessons. We still have normal full-length lessons, but as I said, we can wear casual clothes and no bad marks.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you to all students who have contributed so far. We only have 2 minutes left, so I'm just going to ask one student from each school to share a reflection on the last 60 minutes. What have you learned? What new information are you aware of that you didn't know previously? Have you discovered any similarities or differences that you weren't aware of? Or have you been challenged at all by any of the values that your fellow students have shared? So let's go first to the Lyceum for your reflection, and then we'll go over to Cooper's Coburn. So we'll just have one student from each school. Thank you.
We have some common values as compassion, helping each other and respecting each other, and also to be kind. We have sofa areas at our schools. It's a pity, but we have only 2 weeks our holidays, and we haven't got part-time jobs. But nevertheless, it's a great idea to have a part-time job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's go to Cooper's Coburn. Go ahead.
Okay. Right, yeah, yeah. So as you said, we do have many common values, and I also I was quite warmed by many of your comments in regards to family and how highly you hold it, and I feel that perhaps here we don't necessarily have that much value for our family. I think that's definitely something we can learn from you guys, that we should be more appreciative towards the people that we hold most dear. So yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you very much to students at Cooper's and at the Lyceum. Been wonderful to hear your comments and your contributions and your reflections. So unfortunately now we're out of time, so I'd just like to invite you to unmute your microphones for one final time, just so that we can say goodbye to one another. So goodbye from me.
Bye. 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 2015.